Okay, well, welcome back to another episode of Pomelo Pitch Deck, where we talk about, all of the amazing, wonderful pitches that are up for, well, season two, I guess. And kind of excited because we've got, well, for the second time back, Hernan, Arbor of EOSTARTER. So welcome back to the Pitch Deck series. Hernan, how have you been since the last time we had you on?
Been great. Well, a lot of work and several fronts as you have to do when you're starting something new, right? You're wearing a lot of hats, and yeah, a lot of action in the house too. We have a new baby incoming.
Oh,
He's
nice.
three weeks old. Mikey. So yeah, that's been intense too. If I was getting little sleep before, I didn't even I didn't even appreciate how much sleep that was.
So yeah, on the Uplifters channel yesterday, actually, we had NFT Joe from Underground over working with the MetaCollect US Rider Finney guys, and he was talking about he's kind of a stay-at-home dad, managing this underground business, right? Like I have a 2-year-old and a something month-year-old, right? And it's funny, we were like, yeah, we're gonna have to have like some kind of like help group for like crypto dads or like and NFT with toddlers or something, like
Yeah,
we have to
for
have
sure.
some like self-help group.
Yeah, no, it's complicated, right? When you're working from home, and how do you explain to your wife, like, no, this is actual work. I'm not just in front of a computer,
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah.
chatting with some friends. It's like, we're building something here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm taking, videos or doing interviews with video games basically. And like people just look at me and they're like, "What are you doing? Why are you playing video games?" You're like, you know, and it's like I guess it's probably the very similar thing with you, right? Like you're sitting in front of your computer.
Well,
Um
we're selling digital tarts, so
yeah, right. That's what
yeah.
I was just gonna pull that up. You're sitting in front of your computer, and
So
this is
yeah, we're,
essentially
we're trying
what.
to explain people how, that we're building an essential technological component of the ecosystem that I'm participating in. And so what's building it? Yeah, well, we sell this pop tart and strawberry tart and an apple tart, and there's this master chef, and we're doing some card collectibles with a bakery game. So yeah, that there's the contrast.
Right. Yeah, and it's like right there on your webpage
Yeah, and
too.
that's the about. If you go and that is the announcement of what's coming very soon, which is the bakery game. Now we've had some delays on the bakery game because some components that are like super trivial up and running, that for example on wax, like a random number generator, and like EOS is not yet so uh, ready to go in terms of NFT usage and card collectible games and all the stuff that you do with NFTs, for example, which has been their primary focus, right? And so there are a lot of elements that we've had to develop from scratch. So that's why we've experienced some delays, but it's coming. If you scroll a bit down, you'll see that very soon we'll be airdropping some promotional packs with that include those ingredient tarts. And with the four basic ingredient tarts, you can already bake a tasty tart. And if you get a magic ingredient, you'll be able to, you just get a special ingredient, you get a special tart. And if you get a special and a magic ingredient, then you get a magic tart. And all those are going to be, you can then bake them and stake them. And when you stake them, you'll be earning daily tart tokens.
You're gonna get me in trouble here. Yeah. So back in the early days, we used to do a wake and bake. Now you do a steak. Now you do a bake and steak. It's the NFT. It's the NFT realm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, you've been super busy. I we kind of jumped in a little bit quicker than I wanted to be honest. Because I actually wanted to ask you,
Well, we actually haven't touched Pomelo. We haven't touched
right. Before we go there, I did want to ask you one other question, because I do follow you on Twitter, and so you had a really interesting meeting about a month ago. You met one of the big people in the space. Tell us about that in real life.
Brock. Yeah, well, he visited here in Israel, and if you remember back then, I flew over to Puerto Rico to help Brock launch Helios and get things started there, which is going super good. And Helios, I think it's rocking. The team that's been put together through Chris and Gav and Waxa and all the guys are doing an amazing job. I was also part of the incubator, so that's a pretty amazing ride. So I kind of did whatever I could to add value there and then get the team started and jumpstart the project. And then I got to meet all the people around Brock that work this thing. So of course, Brock was Brock wanted to come visit and hang out, but since he's visiting both the prime minister here and all the big state politicians, I had to kind of cut kind of not a deal, but I got his chief of staff Yidel to tell me, Yidel, listen, when you guys come to Israel, I need you to bring him to Netanya, and we want to sit for coffee with the EOS community, right?
Nice.
And he told me, okay, we'll do it. And between visiting the prime minister and Naftali Bennett and Bibi Netanyahu, the former prime minister, and all those high stakes government officials in Israel, he came over to Netanya and sat down with me and Ami, and we talked EOS for a day. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, like Brock is a very, I think he's a very, not only a very inspiring individual, but also he's very committed, like, to it, right? He hasn't forgotten us, right? Like we could have said from other entities. So he's also doing what he can with the time he has, because he's also running for governor of Vermont, and he's got like he's building a ton of stuff at the same time, but he's also I think a very important player in the EOS ecosystem. So I think we as a community should try to make the most of it and try to support him as he wants to see this ecosystem flourish. And it's not like we have a ton of people like Brock Pierce with the same level of connections, exposure, and mainstream news exposure to give EOS. Recently, we've seen the EOS ETP launch on Europe. That's that's the equivalent of an ETF for EOS, but on Europe, which is it's a bit easier to achieve, but it's still a main traded fund for it. There's only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now EOS. I don't know, maybe there are other ETPs, but so Brock is the one who spearheaded that project, and that's done by Helios. So those are things that are not easily done. There are over 5,000 projects who would like to achieve the same, and we can achieve this with EOS thanks to people like Brock and other very key individuals in our community.
Yeah, and like it's pretty amazing. Now, unfortunately, most of us are not as well off as Brock. So when we want to build something, we can't just light it up in an easy way. We actually have to get funding for it. Which brings us to the whole point of this Pomelo Pitch Deck, which is funding on EOS. So a ton of money coming in to the more than last time. And you guys are up, I guess, for your second proposal. You're going to do the EOS starter token sale contract. Your free time.
That's a Medium article, which is in 3 languages, but also you can see the that's a direct proposal.
So explain what it is and what you guys are going to do, and how is it different from the last time?
Sure. So maybe so I'll give you a brief overview, and then maybe we can even enter the management pool and then take a look at the testing side.
Sure.
So anyway, what we decided to do for EOSTARTER is, in order to be eligible to Pomelo and leverage the foundation's funds to move forward with the project, we decided to take our core technology and open source it, so it'll be available to everyone, right? And everyone can kind of take this contract and essentially launch their own token sales. So this is a great idea to also invite all of the EOS community. We have great minds and great developers there, to log into to GitHub, check out the smart contract repository is, as we promised, open for everyone to see and contribute, and fork and pull requests and whatever. And my invitation is for all of us to make it a public good for all the ecosystem. I don't think, we don't have huge marketing stuff, and the best channels for getting exposure is stuff like what you're doing, Jimmy, with Generos and your channel. So these are the places where we can tell the broader community what we're trying to achieve, right? And I'm not sure that I've been able to convey this properly, because I'm not yet sure if the EOS community understands how important or foundational a good launchpad is for the ecosystem. Maybe it's my opinion. Of course, I'm biased because I'm running EOSTARTER, but I don't know any big, large, successful ecosystem out there that doesn't have an interesting launchpad that people are, subscribing to pools and launching projects with. There are hundreds of launchpads on Ethereum. There are a lot of good ones in Binance chain. Avalanche has their own, a few. Terra Luna, there's Solana, there's SolStarter. Cardano has CardStarter and NativePad, and every leading blockchain ecosystem has their leading token sale launchpad, and I think we need something like EOSTARTER to attract people to not only buy EOS and wait for the price go up and the number go up, but actually take that EOS from the exchange and participate in the ecosystem. And this is a great way to convey people, hey, listen, you have some EOS now. If you get them over from the exchange to your account, you can participate in a very early stage project that might just be the next big thing.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a really interesting point, right? Like, one of the serious faults, in my personal opinion, with EOS has always been, there's a lot of really smart people building a lot of really cool things. Mm-hmm. But there's a serious lack of plug and play options for the mainstream to come in and do things, or people from other blockchains to come in and do things, right? Like, you kind of have to be familiar with all of the things in EOS to be able to do anything, because there is no launchpad, right? Like, there is no, easy wallet really guide. Like, I mean, Anchor's done an amazing thing. Wombat did a great thing, but like it took a lot longer than some of these other, protocols and even EOSIO chains. So, DeFi or different things, they're all kind of like categorized. It's I'd almost go out on a limb and say Pomelo, in a way, is the first platform really on EOS that like brings everything together so that we can see it all in one place, right? Like it's exciting that we can get funding from Pomelo, but even more exciting for me is that by seeing what's on Pomelo and doing these shows and the fireside chats, which are happening in Discord with the EOS Nation guys, like we can actually see all of the proposals and all of the things that people are working on. And that's like almost a plug and play for like, you know, financing projects to do good in the ecosystem, right? But like you said, we don't have a plug and play for so many of these other things, right? Like just to start a project, we don't have that, right? Like we've got one for funding, maybe for Mello, but we don't have one to start it, right? Like so I think you're right, and we do need this. So I'm gonna click on this link.
So you can log in there. That'd be a great thing. So I can approve you from here from my side, because I'm running both the admin app and the kind of the token sale project admin, which can add pools. So I can drive you through the contract, and you can sign in as well. Actually, I have to add you, because the way it works here is that you cannot just log in. You need to give me your user. I need to create a user to allow you access. Why? Because we need to whitelist both the project owners and the users that will be using that will be subscribing to the pools and utilizing this stuff. So
okay, well, why don't you just share your screen and show us?
Yeah.
That'll work, and it'll speed things up rather than us having to create the thing.
Sure.
So
let me see if screen sharing is easiest with two monitors. Okay. So I have two monitors, but I have to put this over here, and maybe, okay, let me see. If I put this over here, it says screen sharing is easier when two screens.
But if you just share it, you can share it above.
Okay. So I can share screen too, like this. Do you see now my screen?
No. You have to click at the bottom. There's a thing that says share screen.
Right. It says so I want to brave to later. Do you see my screen now?
No, you have to.
I do. I did the share screen, but it says system preferences. No.
Okay. Well, we can just maybe. Okay. Well, let's set that up. But explain what this is, or if you want.
It asked me to log out and.
Yeah, that's fine. So okay.
So well, what you can do is listen. Let's go step by step, and what we can do is, I will show you, instead of the token sale, instead of going through the testing website, what we can do is I can show you the actions of the smart contract on Jungle. I'll send you a link here on Telegram, and you can open that and share your screen. And what I can do, instead of us going through the test site and seeing the tables and all the actions, I can go quickly through the ABI actions of the smart contract and kind of run through what this smart contract can do.
Sure. Okay. Let me just go back here.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we have both the token sale app contract, and we have a token sale token pool, which is the one that that each project owner is going to set up for, basically collecting EOS and getting and distributing their tokens in return. So I'll go through the smart contract very briefly, one by one, and then I guess we'll weave how does the smart contract work by going through the actions, right? So the basic actions of the token sale app are the following, right? We need to approve all users, both as an investor or as a project owner. Now, if a project owner logs in, what he can do right from the start is add a pool, right? When they're at a pool, they say, okay, this is the name of the pool. This is the tokens that I'm selling. This is the amount of tokens that I'm selling. This is the price per token that I'm steering. This is the vesting, right? The vesting period that we're allowing for, which is going to be right now is going to be a linear daily vesting. So every day you'll get an equal amount of tokens vested or freed up to claim from the token sale. And you can also divide them from a percentage that'll be available right away after the token sale ends, and a percentage that's going to be vested over a period of days. So those are the kind of the properties of the token sale pool. Then the ad user is for the app admin, which in this case is going to be EOSTARTER. And we can do the token admin is basically the one who is determining kind of we're going to be the kind of the manager of the whole application. So we're going to be allowing users to participate, allowing projects to add their pools. Then we will be able to approve pools, to approve subscriptions to the pool. And when you approve a subscription, you can determine what the allocation, that's the max allocation that is allowed per user. So that is going to allow us to determine, okay, so you have this amount of tart tokens and this tart tiers, you got the Pop Tart and the, we take into account for the bonus, the highest rarity tart tier that you own. And that is going to be your multiplier for the allocation. So with all that together, you get an allocation, you get your subscription approved. And then of course, we start the sale. And then the actions that we can do is for first, once the project owner determines the amount of tokens that they're going to sell, and we approve the pool, the next step, the next status of the token sale is going over and saying, okay, I want to deposit the tokens. And they have to deposit exactly the amount of tokens that they declare that they're selling in that one transaction. So it's important that all the tokens that the project wants to sell are immediately available on that pool. So that makes us, from pending to approval, once we approve it, we are pending the deposit. And once they deposit, we are kind of ready for sale. And then when the date comes and the token sale starts, we start the sale becomes an active sale in the status, and then users can contribute to the token sale. And then they will have an interface where they read their allocation and they can deposit their EOS according to their allocation or their max allocation, or they can deposit less, from 0.1 EOS or 1 EOS all the way to their max allocation, which is something that we can do on EOS and no other launchpad can do, because it wouldn't make sense. Well, if you can do these types of allocations in an Ethereum-based launchpad, because imagine if you get a $10 allocation, it would make no sense, buying $10 worth of the token on a pre-sale where when the gas is all just participating on it's $70. So you already need to do a 7 or 8x just to be break even with your purchase. So that we can do guaranteed allocations for all our users on EOS according to their their holdings. So maybe you can only participate with 1 EOS and that's it. But you're able to buy $5 or $3 worth of the token, and it still makes sense because it's running on EOS. So
it actually, yeah, I like it. And so are projects able to are projects able to customize parameters? Because let's say we wanted to say, okay, well, each account needs to be verified, or each account needs to can only purchase up to a certain percent of the total allocation. Are these kind of things built into it as well, or will they be built into it as well?
Well, we want to do the full-fledged feature for the smart contract and for the platform. So we want to allow for a project to determine if they're going to do right now it's linear daily vesting, and that's what we have. But maybe a project wants to do monthly vesting, weekly vesting, quarterly vesting for the tokens, right? Another thing that's very interesting that was proposed actually by our partners at EOS Costa Rica was that, hey, we can have the same vesting procedure not only for the investors in the token pool, but also for the project owner. So the project owner can say, hey, listen, it can be used as a parameter for more legitimacy. It's not like we run the sale and immediately after the sale we have all over the EOS unlocked and available to claim. The project can also set up their pool so that they have 20% or 50% of the EOS available after the sale, and then they have a vesting period for those EOS that they gathered from the token sale. So that's also interesting. And immediately after the token sale, when we do the end sale, all the tokens that have not been that didn't sell go back to the project owner, to their account immediately, together with the EOS that are vested immediately after launch, and also the tokens that are freed up like at TGE, like immediately, they're also sent to the users that contributed. So immediately after the end sale, everyone has their relative tokens, and things get started. Essentially, that's of course the happy path.
Sorry, I thought my mic was off there. Okay, yeah, very cool. So I guess the public good is allowing projects to, get investment for what they're building or what they need to do beyond the 4 Pomelo seasons a year, right? Which is kind of important.
Yeah, this is more specific, right? Because the launch, but because what they're selling is tokens, EOS based tokens. So that's not something that is. So it's very different from Pomelo, right? In Pomelo, you're not buying anything; you're donating essentially. And in EOSTARTER, you are going to be purchasing tokens at a pre-sale at a pre-sale event. And the other thing that we are also the public good itself is also the open source contract. So essentially, right, anyone can fork the contract and make their own EOSTARTER and Launchpad through this open public good, which is this smart contract that allows for projects to set up their sale. Or maybe a project goes and says, hey, listen, we want to do a token sale, but we don't want to do it through EOSTARTER. We don't like Hernan for some reason. So
everybody likes you, Hernan. What are you talking about?
But they can go and take this contract and launch it by themselves. That's some of the tough decisions that projects need to do in order to make their project an actual public good and something that can be used by everyone. And now what we want to do with the new season on Pomelo is we want to get funding for a security audit, which is not cheap and not easy to get from good auditors. This is a critical next step for us, because before we can feel confident and comfortable with launching a sale and telling all the community, hey, come deposit your EOS here, and telling projects, hey, come deposit a chunk of your token supply over here on this contract, we want to make sure that this contract is super secure. It's been audited. We know, we need to feel confident that it's not, it's pretty secure, and it's not, it's going to be super hard for anyone to try to tamper with it or do any bots attacks or in my mind, this is going to be our main source of funding projects. And when we have a lot of token pools that hold a lot of EOS and a lot of token contracts, it's super critical that we have this smart contract audited, secured, verified. We check all the boxes basically.
Yeah, and I mean, we're no strangers to hacks or things like that. Is there any? So is there? I guess is there a plan to like vet projects to make sure that they're legit? Do you guys have that built into the network system as well? Like we do see a lot of projects who are faceless or nameless that come out and create something and then like disappear, whether they didn't get the funding that they needed or whether they weren't able to build what they said they were going to build. Is there some kind of vetting process, or is this just open to anyone who wants to use it?
That is actually our core business model, right? We want to provide a kind of stamp of quality, stamp of quality that yes, we vetted the project, we met with the guys, we helped them build their narrative, their pitch. We're promoting the project, help them build a community, and making sure that these guys are legit and they're serious in doing their stuff. So basically that is why people also will be will go to EOSTARTER to participate in token sales, because it's very hard to run proper due diligence on all those new projects that are coming onto the space. So people want to know, oh, right, so it's launching in EOSTARTER, they must be onto something, right? And we want to provide that kind of seal of quality. Now, essentially, the vetting process now is going to be centralized. So we, the EOSTARTER team, and me and Vero and Ami and Yevon, we're going to be the ones that are vetting the projects both technically and tokenomics wise and business wise. But eventually, we want to start decentralizing this and making this totally open and totally decentralized, so the community votes for projects that they want to see first, that they want to see launch, so that the community is able to run their due diligence, submit the comments, submit their review on the projects, and then the community itself and the token holders vote, yes, this project checks all the boxes, we want to go forward with this. This project seems dodgy, we don't want to launch a token sale with this project. And essentially, I want this also to be a decentralized launchpad eventually. But you have to start somewhere. So for now, we're going to be the driving engine behind this.
Cool. Yeah, and I think it sounds really good. So again, go over to Pomelo and you can just run a search for EOSTARTER.
Yeah, if you want the complete link, I posted in the comments, it's pomelo.io/grants/EOSTARTER TSC, which stands for token sale contract.
Yeah, we'll put it in here in the comments.
Yeah.
And you can read about the proposal. You can follow the links. You can maybe test out some of the stuff. It's all there. If you go to the Medium, you can read it all firsthand. So before we let you go, Hernan, of course, thank you for coming on.
Thank you
but
for having me.
I'm just kind of curious, has it happened already, or are you guys planning to do a fireside chat in the Discord as well?
I was one of the first two people to pitch our Pomelo grant in the fireside chat last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? No, last week. Yes. So last week I pitched the EOSTARTER. I don't think I'm going to get a second chance because we have a ton of projects pitching. So
I guess if anyone has any questions, where can they go to get those answers?
Please head over. Thank you very much, Jeannie, for the invitation. Please head over. I'm going to post an invitation to the Discord on YouTube. So this is the Discord of EOSTARTER. I'm heavily active there and checking everyone's comments and addressing all the questions and FOD and when moon and all the crypto questions you might have. So that's a good place to go to. And of course, you can find me over on Twitter, on Telegram, on the EOS Discord, on the Helios team Discord, so I'm also very active there. I'm here. I'm try to push EOS forward as much as we can, as much as anyone.
Yeah, so I've also put the link for the Telegram in there as well. So, I mean, I think it sounds pretty good. I wish you all the best of luck to get that funding, Hernan. And, again, it's quadratic funding. And the model, from the first season was quite successful. There's some pretty big matching that's going out on little donation amounts of EOS. And so I hope that like all of the people who are upset or waiting for when EOS Moon realize that just donating a few EOS to some of these projects that you really appreciate is a really important thing. Because EOS don't moon without any fuel. And I mean, Pomelo gives the projects a chance to, light a fire under their ass and get some exposure and get some funding and get some development going and put us as an ecosystem more out there into the space. So,
yeah, and something very interesting that Daniel Key said on the Fireside Chat explaining Pomelo that I think is a great way to explain it. It's not only a funding website for public good, it's also a reputation system. Right. So in order for me to come into season 2 and say, hey, we're moving forward, we're still moving forward with the token sale contract and asking for the community to donate, I also have to be accountable for what did I do with the funds received on season 1, right? And that's and the fact that we do have a smart contract that it's available for testing and contributing and commenting, I think it's we also want to serve as a good example of a Pomelo participant, right? Like of a Pomelo project. So this is more oriented to other Pomelo projects. If you got funds in season 1 and you're doing a season 2, I think it's very important that you explain to the community how were the funds you got in season 1 used. We're building kind of reputation and putting our faces behind our projects. So yeah.
Indeed, yeah, for sure. So again, thank you for joining us, Hernan. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Please like and share this out. Please go read the documentation. As for me, well, I'll be doing my thing. I'll be live actually today. If you happen to catch this in the next 10 minutes over on the Uplifters channel, we're going to dive into some EOSIO, cool EOSIO stuff with any observation over there with all the cool stuff that they're doing. And I'll also be, doing something a little later on the edge with Sean Ballant of the Metaphors comics. Sorry, not the Metaphors comics. Sorry, the MetaCollect and the MetaCollect, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm kind of still hesitant to burn my Fini cards because you have to burn 22 of them to get something rarer. And I don't know. I need to read on how to do this because I'm still hesitant of what if I burn the wrong cards or I just bend the packet. So
I maybe we should go over that on our show tonight. That would be fun. So
yeah, please do.
As for what's happening on the Gener EOS channel, we've got Grex coming up next week on the 4th. They're doing a cool IoT blockchain thing. We've got Douglas Horn, actually, of Telos, also on the 4th, is going to come and join us for a Gempool Spotlight. And we've got a few more pitch decks lined up next week as well. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys all on